The Bishop's Wife is kind of a miracle. The movie endured multiple directors, swapped casting, and heavy rewrites, and still ended up being such a charming holiday classic that it got remade decades later to become a holiday classic all over again. Christmas movies are often about magic and miracles. This time, it's a chipper angel named Dudley who goes around Minneapolis blessing people with happy little surprises. He gets a big assignment. An uptight bishop, played by David Niven, has poured himself heart and soul into fundraising for a new cathedral, and has lost touch with his wife Julia and his daughter Debbie along the way. Dudley arrives and poses as the bishop's assistant. Naturally, he performs a series of little miracles, charming the bishop's neglected daughter and wife, as well as a frustrated old historian who needs help finishing his magnum opus. The professor, a dogged atheist, is gifted with a bottomless flask of sherry that neither goes empty nor gets him drunk. Work on his book begins to chug forward. The bishop hands entertaining Julia over to Dudley, an act of stunning stupidity. I don't have time to spend with my wife, so I want Cary Grant to take her out. Cary Grant charms everyone. He even takes their taxi driver out ice skating. Somehow, David Niven doesn't realize he's asked the most charming man alive to sweep his wife off her feet. Worse, Dudley starts to wonder if he wants to stay in the angel business. After all, he could settle down as a mortal with Julia. The workaholic who's married to their job but learns a very important lesson is of course a mainstay of holiday movies. James Caan, Maureen O'Hara, Jimmy Stewart, etc., etc., etc. It works here because it's the manic pixie dream gent who's our protagonist, and he has to overcome his own temptations. Of course, it's very much a Hollywood version of an angel. Biblical angels are terrifying creatures. The bishop is ready to go all fisticuffs with Dudley to save his marriage.
I've never before had to fight an angel, but I suggest you take off your coat and put up your dukes.
Which Dudley warns him is a very bad idea. Our only record of a human confronting one is Jacob, who ended up with a dislocated hip after a full night's tussling. But this isn't a biblical angel, nor even one according to Thomas Aquinas, who posited that angels would not have genders. You can't take this movie seriously from a religious standpoint, any more than It's a Wonderful Life or Here Comes Mr. Jordan, Heaven Can Wait. But you could take it seriously from a work-life balance standpoint. All the bishop wants is a massive edifice he can claim to have created. He values his wife more than his life, but he's wasting his life on his legacy. And he's willing to fight for his wife, but he can't even muster the strength to take her out for a nice night. If you don't treat her right, somebody else will. The other lesson is for Dudley. Just because someone's lovely and you get along well, that doesn't mean you should dump your vows, or theirs.
You sure you're an angel?
I did not come to this movie to learn, really, but to enjoy excellent performances. Obviously Cary Grant and David Niven and Loretta Young, but also Monty Woolley as the professor, and James Gleason as the cab driver. Gleason's one of those actors who's fantastic in many films, but may go under your radar. When Denzel Washington started up his production company in the early 90s, one of his first films was a remake of this, retitled The Preacher's Wife. He stepped effortlessly into Grant's shoes, not something many male leads could do, and he took the role of the wife up a notch, casting the gorgeous pop megastar Whitney Houston as Julia. Houston didn't have a huge acting career, but her first three films, The Bodyguard, Waiting to Exhale, and this, all produced massively successful soundtracks. This one produced the best-selling gospel soundtrack of all time, heavily featuring the Georgia Mass Choir as well as, of course, Miss Houston herself, and also some well-placed friends. The original soundtrack is no slouch either. One of the most charming scenes has Dudley summoning a shockingly pure boys' choir into a glorious scene that has to be seen at full volume.
Oh, word of God, for us incarnate. Oh, word of God, for us incarnate. By faith we hear.
It is, like the rest of this film, angelic.